Hello, and welcome to our AI in Action session here at CNX. I have the absolute pleasure of welcoming here to this presentation two fantastic industry leaders and fantastic ladies as well that will engage with me in a conversation about the newest trends reshaping events today, particularly AI and everything around that. But I'd like to maybe first present who's going to chat with that, though I think those leaders do not really need that much of introduction, but just to keep the momentum and to keep the tradition going. My name is Barbara Kozanecka. I'm a global marketing coordinator here at CNX, and here with me is Dalia Elgazar, event technology strategist and founder of Dahlia Plus agency, and Martha Donato, president and founder at MAD Event Management LLC. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Or good
I am
afternoon.
very Yes, well, for me it is afternoon, so thanks for noting that. Today, we're talking about AI, and it is no coincidence that yet again, at CNX and other webinars as well, we are talking about AI technology. I think that we can safely say that it has entered our lives as these event organizers, and I think just simply professionals for good. And there is no really anyone who would say, oh no, I don't use AI at all. Even if it's just ChatGPT, but we know that it goes way beyond just that. But I think maybe that would be most familiar one. However, there are many angles that we can take on when talking about AI and AI's role in events. So today, I would like to focus on the attendee side of things. So how does AI affect attendees' experience and more? So I'd like to start with a question. What do you think is needed to make event experiences more memorable, and how to use AI to make that even better?
I'm happy to jump in, and thanks very much, Barbara and Dahlia, for inviting me to be on this program with you today. And this is obviously a very important topic, and it's being covered on every conference and every trade show that I've seen over the last probably a year to 18 months. So yes, it's a very important topic. And I think a little background on me, I'm a show organizer for over 25 years. And my perspective will come to you from that viewpoint. Dahlia's is a different one. She's also producing many, many things, but we have different viewpoints. And I think that's what makes for an interesting conversation. I think there's a person in our sphere of influence, Julius Solaris. He has a site and a product called Bold Push. And he mentioned in one of his chats recently that he thought what was missing from our industry is a chief networking officer. And that cascaded for me into all the ways that that's true. And matchmaking is probably the most important piece that none of us have effectively figured out, or I shouldn't say none. Most of us haven't really figured out an efficient way to do it. It's a very manual process. It takes us a long time, a lot of effort, a lot of people involved to get a really strong matchmaking program together. And now you can layer in AI. And what tools do we have that could help us pre-qualify who might be a good match for each other? For me, in what I do, that's deeply valuable. And who can figure that out in the most efficient and user-friendly way is going to win that race. And that is what it's all about. The reason we attend conferences and trade shows, obviously we go for education and for our commercial interests, but really we go to meet people who we can work with in the future. Networking is really what it's all about for me. Dahlia, what are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with you in regards to networking is right now, I believe, is the number one reason why event participants go to a show. And there's different flavors of networking, right? So it's peer-to-peer, where you are trying to have like an information exchange to better your profession, to better your understanding of certain topics. I think also, and event organizers should not shy away from this and embrace it within their events. But there's also matchmaking and networking when it comes to job hunting. And right now, with all the layoffs and everything, this is where you can either have a job expo, or you can have those that are seeking certain talent to find the talent at your show, or those that are seeking to work on projects. And so you match make by superpowers. And this works for neurodivergent attendees, as well as those that know how to market and sell themselves. And you usually have everybody across that entire spectrum, right? You have people, even us event profs, sometimes we don't know how to market ourselves. So I believe in networking. One thing about AI that I want to make really clear, and I know people that have heard me speak know I have a lot of pet peeves. So my pet peeve is you can't say the C word, you can't say the P word. We have to like get over the Corona coaster that happened. AI has been an invisible technology for a very long time. And we succeed as event professionals, as event designers and content designers, when the technology is invisible to your stakeholders or to your event participants. It comes into play when, like in networking, like what Martha was saying, where you need that type of platform in order to connect with the right people at the right time. So AI will always be invisible. AI is not a trend. AI has been around for a very long time. So I remember doing like sessions with Corbin Ball way back in the day, trying to explain the invisible technology. But what it's doing right now for us, it's propelling us forward. And we have to design differently. And we actually have to design faster. So what Martha was talking about, the networking, that's a critical component. It is part of any event strategy, but it has to be up front and center, and it has to be agile to a point where you could be designing, and with the help of AI tools, something right there and then on the show floor, for example. And I know there's a lot of event profs saying, holy crap, you're causing me gray hairs. I'm never going to do this. I'm going to ugly cry in the bathroom with a bottle of wine. But that is the point here. AI is not a trend. AI is here to empower you to keep on going with your bad self and your super cape and all of that, and do what you do best. And networking is going to be the catalyst for many events in 2024 and beyond.
Yeah, I remember when back in, I think 2020 at 6C, we already implemented AI matchmaking when it was not really yet a thing that much in the events, and how fast and how much it has changed over those years, right?
Yeah.
I think there's also a different part of that matchmaking, because we're at events, we're looking for that productivity, for efficiency. So I don't know if you remember, but there were times when you used to go to events, get your cup of coffee, and just keep coming to people and hoping that this is the right person for you to talk with. Those days are gone. Like, nobody wants to do that anymore, right? We want to be efficient at events. And I think, though, the AI matchmaking for networking is one of those crucial tools that will help attendees be happier at events and like them more and want to attend more. And I know that we also wanted to talk about the other aspect of matchmaking, which is related to content, because it's not only about meeting other people, but it's also aligning attendees with what they're interested about, right?
Right. So when you think of how we binge on content, just the three of us, for example, and we're a tiny sample of like thousands of people coming to an event. First and foremost, you get to gravitate to those sessions that will make you better. that will make you more efficient and make you more of a rock star that you are. So there's a matchmaking that needs to happen on the content side. And I don't mean, this is where tags come in, or you say what you're interested in knowing more about. But here's the other part, which I think is going to be part of the event design and with AI enablement as well, where, for example, Martha and Barbara go to an event or a virtual event and they mark the sessions that they want to go to. And so you get not only like a Netflix style where you get more sessions thrown at you. Hey, you liked A, let me give you X, Y, and Z because it's the same. You're going to be able to do matchmaking with content that doesn't even exist in your program. So with the value of all the tools that we have going on, especially on the content creation side, imagine that you get a personalized series or a personalized like program, not certification if you want to turn it into a certification, but that's only for Martha or only for Barbara. And so the whole education is not going to live within the start and end date of an event anymore. It's going to propel where there's going to be a content continuum. And with the data analytics that you get with the platforms that you use, see, this is the thing. It's not us using the AI. It's the platforms and the partners that you have to ask, what are you doing with the data analytics and with the efficiencies that AI brings? And so I think with content, this is where our creativity should shine. What more do you want to do? Do you want to give more promo spots, for example, from a sponsor that's not infomercials to Martha, that's different to Barbara, for example? The whole idea of accessibility and breaking down borders of languages, then you'll be able to deliver as well in either Arabic or in Spanish or what have you. So that also makes even, it becomes more global and more efficient, or as well as the networking, you take that to another level altogether. And there's money involved. You can make money out of what we're talking about here. So, we're not just costing, yes. These ideas are not just to cost you money. This is to make you money. So there you go.
For sure.
You're welcome.
Yeah, really good point. Really good point, Dahlia. Very important. I think everything that Dahlia said, she's speaking at a very high level. I think to bring it down a little bit to the practical, if you don't mind, Barbara,
Sure.
I think probably many of you, but certainly not all of you, know that I'm the UFI North America Regional Director. And as such, I have responsibilities to this chapter, but I work with a really amazing team of people that's global. And most of them sit in the office in Paris. And so I'm in constant communication with them. And just last week, Dahlia just sparked for me the realization that we're producing a conference in Monterrey, Mexico. And we did a demonstration by one of the leading translation companies. Am I allowed to say, Barbara, or is this agnostic to names of? Yeah, Wordly. So we did a Wordly demo, and
they're awesome.
Amazing. We can simultaneously translate into Portuguese, Spanish, and English. And to your point, Dahlia, it's happening silently in the background. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to get stressed about it. All we have to do is input the data at the front end. We were making a joke that if we don't say oofy carefully in the pronunciation, then it comes out like boofy. So, and I think that's the point that I'd like to make. As event organizers, we still have to do the same work in the front end. We still need our voice to be heard. So we don't just want to take we input something into any sort of AI tool, and what it spits back out to us still has to be in our voice and representative of what we're trying to accomplish, because AI is so profoundly intelligent that it can make you into something you're not. So I think that's my cautionary tale. And I think, Dahlia, you mentioned that you have certain quirks about it, and so do I. And I think the other one is just being really mindful that you do have to read carefully or listen carefully to the output that you're getting. And even the best technology is still only as good as what you tell it, right? Junk in, junk out. That's what we say. In this case, junk in, way out of your course of what you were trying to accomplish is possible if you're not careful. So that's my cautionary tale.
No, I mean, yeah, go ahead, Barbara. Sorry.
I just had this realization while Dalia, you were talking about this content that could be suggested to you when you go to different events. And I think how fantastically that works within event platforms that offer you possibility to take part in not just one event, because you know how we used to have apps that is just for this one event, but like those multi-event applications or platforms that you as a attendee live on beyond the event and then continue going to different events within that platform. So then your profile is building and growing and learning more about you. I'm sure we're going to drop something in the chat soon about that, but I just really like that. And I think this is a great notion to just keep in mind because, yeah, the attendees at our main focus, right? And
definitely.
Well, yeah, I think right now, even though the attendees are your main focus, there are other significant stakeholders that need some love. I actually think that exhibitor personnel are lost souls. And usually what happens is you have exhibiting companies or sponsorship companies that come in and they bring teams, and sometimes it's their first time into an industry arena and they are lost puppies. And so that is an event participant that needs its own type of networking and its own type of content. And so with an invisible platform or technology behind the scenes, it's a win-win for you because that's part of the ROI for any exhibiting or sponsoring company. How many leads they got, or how many people they met, or how many business cards they bumped on each other's phones, all of that. But it's also like who shepherded them around the event, told them who are the movers and shakers, for example. Did they have time to do strategic partnerships with each other, exhibitor to exhibitor or sponsor to sponsor, not only from buyer to seller? So when talking about AI, and this is what we do when we consult with agencies as well as clients and organizers, we do it in different ways when it comes to AI. We do tech labs for the internal teams. We do workshops. We do labs for the attendees so that they're up to speed, so that we don't go into the cautionary tales that Martha was talking about, which is AI hallucinations, data junk that you don't want. This is why New York Times is suing, I don't know who now, Elon Musk or someone. It's a Netflix documentary that we're going to see soon. But we also, this is where ethical AI, and they'll be able to know what's good, what's bad, what's ugly, right? And then we also want that this, so when it comes to technology, and I'm a big believer in this, our event professionals, no matter what they do, no matter what level they are, they need to embrace this technology very quickly because it is the fastest innovation that we're seeing at the moment. And so our way of designing, when Martha goes and does a kick-ass OOFI annual conference and so forth, the understanding of AI that's being used with the platforms that she's implementing, that's key. But the most important lesson here is asking the question, what kind of impacts, as well as emotional impacts, are you putting in place within your strategy for your attendees and your different types of attendees? And I think then it becomes a win. Forget AI for now, for a minute. Forget it for a minute.
Yeah, Dalia, that's a really good point. I love that. And the focus on the attendee is critical. You're 100% right. I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
Because we are actually about to wrap up. I don't know how fast, like when did the time go? So maybe one more question, just very quick one. how do you because there's a lot going on, obviously a lot of changes in the events industry, with trends, new best strategies, ideas, and so on. Any recommendation for event professionals to how to stay up to date, how to get the good information, how to be on top of everything that's going on? Martha, maybe first.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Barbara. And I would say the two people I follow, one's on this program with us, listen to Dahlia. For sure, she's very, very tuned into everything that's happening. And she talks to a lot of people, and that's the key, right? She takes in a great deal of information and input, and she does a lot of research, and then she shares it freely and openly with her audience. And I think that's phenomenal. And the other person I mentioned at the top of this conversation was Julius Solaris. He's also on LinkedIn. He has free content, and then he has a paid portal as well. He has a subscription, but you can get a great deal of knowledge. And some days when you read either one of their posts, you say to yourself, I never thought of that. And that's when you know that they're pushing the envelope, and you're the beneficiary of all the work they're doing. So those are my two top picks.
Dahlia?
I actually, I follow more so people that are not in our industry. So for those that are able to give us signals on what is happening outside of our world, then you get your eureka moments on how you implement inside, because we need those signals to understand the consumers who are ultimately our attendees. So, I follow Ali K. Miller. She is the #1 voice in AI for me, and she's super awesome as a person. So that's one. I follow Kathy Hackle, Hackl. I follow Omar Tawakkol, and he has worked with Oracle and Cisco. He actually also now has a new company, Rembrandt, as well. So I follow Mo Gaudat, which I believe was the keynote speaker for Convening Leaders. He's based out of Dubai. And then follow those that are doing it on an ethical side or like on a social side. So you have Omar El Aloma right now, who's the first AI minister in UAE, in Abu Dhabi. And so that way it gives you a different perspective on what we can do in our events world, from the fashion world, from a social world, all of that good stuff.
All right. Thank you very much for being here with us today, to the attendees. And thank you very much, Martha and Dahlia, for this fantastic conversation. I know that we could go for much, much longer because there is a lot of topics that we still did not touch and questions I have not asked, but maybe in the future, hopefully. Sorry for our attendees. We took a bit of your break time. I hope you'll be still able to get your coffee, water, and maybe some snacks. And right after, we're going to go into a sustainability session on Planet Positive and innovations driving sustainability in events with Eduardo Lebre from Circular Unity and Luis Martins from CNX. So please make sure to get to that session as well. And thank you again for being with us. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Dahlia, and hope to see you soon.